Summer's gone. Gil Leberton, fall is here. Winter's looming. What's your favorite season?
Gumbo season.
I'd actually like that one. The only month in which all four major sports play at the same time. Welcome to October. There is a miracle ongoing on Mockingbird here in Dallas. Welcome to Pressbox DFW Live. Richie Witt alongside one venerable DFW sports writer and a very reasonable facsimile of John Henry. Gil Leberton, where's John?
This guy's got the same hair.
He does have the same hair. John Henry on cutting horse assignment again today, so we'll make do without him. One of the greatest stories this year in college football, I'll be honest, caught me totally by surprise, totally out of the blue. Your SMU Mustangs are 6-0.
Amazing.
I mean, did you see this coming at all?
No, didn't see 6-0.
I didn't see 1-0. I thought they would struggle with Arkansas State first game.
No.
Oh, you saw that?
I've always
you
liked
didn't think
Shane
they would
Buechele.
beat. What about TCU? Do you thought TCU would beat them?
Yes.
Okay, me too. 6-0 for the first time since the Pony Express days. We're talking, the 80s with Eric Dickerson, Craig James, and company. SMU ranked 21st in this week's poll, and they're coming off one of the wildest games you ever did see, beating Tulsa in 3 overtimes Saturday night at Ford Stadium. You got Sonny Dykes, you got Shane Buechele, and we, Pressbox DFW Live viewers, have the defensive coordinator for SMU. It is Kevin Kane. Coach Kane, welcome, man. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Well, you must be happy these days. Let's be honest, when you're in preseason, you saw your schedule. Did you ever in your wildest imagination go, yeah, you know what, we'll get off to a 6-0 start?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if 6-0 was the right thing, but I did feel pretty confident coming into the year. We were able to go through spring ball and have huge strides in spring. And I knew certain guys were coming back, and plus the guys additions we were adding to our team. And I thought we were going to be pretty good, and knock on wood, we've kind of stayed true to what we were thinking. So we were just kind of under the radar, which is what we like to be, and then we show up, and now everybody's starting to take notice of what we were pretty much seeing all along.
Yeah, here we are now. The media, of course, we're bandwagon experts. We're coming out of the woodwork. Oh yeah, SMU. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about your defense specifically, real quick. You guys, I don't know if you still do. You only had 1 sack last week, but the week before that, you were leading the nation in sacks. What's your philosophy on getting after the quarterback?
Just exactly that. Just get after him. Our whole mentality on defense is we have the word attack is everywhere in our players' locker and all of our position rooms, and it's kind of our mentality as far as what we're going to do every snap. And we want to be able to dictate what the offense wants to do, not what the offense is going to do to us. And we apply a lot of pressure in different ways, with how we attack our edges and blitzing and whatever way we can use their rules to break them, find out exactly what they're doing and help us. That's what we're going to try to do every week. And that's kind of the fun part of, every week's a different puzzle is how can we figure out what they're doing and make them look really bad by doing it. And I think our defensive line and our linebackers and our secondary all tied together with the back end's covering people and the D-line's getting home, or if we're blitzing them, we're getting home when it matters. So it's been pretty fun, and the guys are attacking everything that they do and getting after the quarterback.
Kevin, this is Gil Leberton. Everybody knows about your transfer quarterback. How extensive did you use transfers to bolster your defense?
Yeah, no, it's the transfer portal has really changed, the landscape of college football and recruiting in general. we have a guy, Brandon Stevens is one of our starting cornerbacks who was a running back at UCLA. Showed up probably three days into fall camp and was playing corner, and now is our starting corner. Richard McBride, who's our starting middle linebacker right now, was at Auburn, was medically disqualified from Auburn, and showed up at the day camp began, and now is our starting middle linebacker. Zach Abercrombie up from Rice is one of our starting D tackles. Chevin Callaway transferred from Arkansas. Cam Jones transferred from Nebraska. I mean, we have quite a few, and they're not all just senior grad transfers either. There's some guys that transferred that with lots of eligibility left that were able to or came back home for certain reasons that are able to play right away. And I think it's been a huge asset for not just offense. It's been a huge asset for the entire team.
I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, for a coach, you go through off season, you plan everything, and you're saying the first or second or third day of fall camp, which is pretty close to the start of the season, these new faces are showing up, and now they're starting and playing big roles, and sometimes even in different positions. How strange is that for a coach like you guys that plan for something and then have these guys just literally kind of walk on?
Yeah, it's kind of how it's going right now. It's been pretty crazy. I remember Brandon Stevens. We were at practice on, I think it was the second day, and he made this great play on the ball, and I'm like, who the heck is that? And I started running over, and I was like, I didn't really. It was a big dude.
All right, now come on. Did you really not know who he was?
Yeah. And I was like, we don't have a big corner like that, and I hadn't met him yet. So I run up there, and he had his name on his helmet. And I was like, Brandon, all right, good to meet you. Great play. But it is nuts. I mean, you hear about kids and you talk with them on the phone, but and how it's happening so fast now with they have to graduate and do all that stuff and then get accepted into school, and it's not the easiest process. So it's crazy because it happens, and then we just have to get used to it.
Kevin, how'd you end up at SMU and working with Sonny Dykes?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Transfer portal. He just showed up.
Transfer portal. That's right. I played against Coach Dykes when he was at Texas Tech. I played at the University of Kansas for Coach Mark Mangino in the early 2000s. So I played against him. And
did you play?
You
sorry to interrupt you. You might have played in the Fort Worth Bowl that Kansas played in. Is that right?
I did. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
That was my senior year, and was able to. So when I was playing at Kansas, Mark Mangino had a pretty young, promising staff. Dave Dorn, who's the head coach at North Carolina State, was my position coach. Billy Young was our defensive coordinator, who spent a lot of years all over the country. Tim Beck, who's the OC at Texas, was there. I mean, all these guys were just young coaches for Coach Mangino. And so when I graduated, Dave Dorn went up to the University of Wisconsin and we became a defensive coordinator there. And he hired me as a GA, and then just kind of made my path around from there. And Dave and Sonny are pretty close, I think. They know each other pretty well. And I was at the defense coordinator at Northern Illinois, and we had a lot of success up there. And somehow I got a phone call from Sonny, and Sonny wanted to be able to bring me down here and talk to me, and we did just that. I thought it was just when I got here, this is the history of this place, and just knowing what this place can be, it was very appealing to me and my wife at the time, and she's from Chicago, and we took the risk to come down with Coach Dykes, and here we are today. I mean, I don't know how other than Dave, I don't know how he really. Other than the success we had at Northern and Dave, I don't know how he got my name.
SMU defensive coordinator Kevin Kane joining us on Pressbox DFW Live. So I hear some Wisconsin, some Kansas, some Northern Illinois. Your wife's from Chicago. How's that 100-degree Texas summer treating you when you got down here?
Love it. I will not complain.
Yeah, no kidding.
One bit after living up in Wisconsin and Illinois for a winter. I will take 120-degree heat over the -50 cold.
Same.
All day.
Let's talk about what happened Saturday night. Bonkers on the boulevard. I mean, are you on the sideline or are you up in the booth during the game?
I'm on the sideline.
Okay, you're on the sideline. So things have gone great for you this season. You just wiped the floor with South Florida. You upset TCU. You're ranked. Everything. There's a buzz. There's a big crowd. There, the boulevard's part of the party. There's these pins in town. and then that start. I mean, you screw up a kickoff return, let the ball bounce in the end zone, give up a touchdown that way. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to make you explain the blown coverage on the wide open touchdown to make it 30-9, but that stadium was pretty empty. It was quiet. And what was the feeling on the sideline when you're down 30-9?
Yeah, it was self-inflicted wounds. We had a busted coverage where our corner jumped a short route when he was supposed to be deep, and it was one of those deals where it's like, hey guys, the offense, defensively, all we can control is what we can control, right? And we just kept telling them, hey, just believe, and the offense is going to figure this out. They're going to start putting some points up on the board. They're going to start moving the ball. They've been on the field forever. They're wearing the defense down, and so we just kept telling our guys, just stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. There's lots of time left. You know how fast we can score, and then sure enough, the offense starts driving the ball at the end of that third quarter, and then score that touchdown to get us to it was 30-16 with a whole fourth quarter left, and then we just took it upon ourselves, like, listen, man, we got to show up, and we got to be able to do what we need to do and just lock in and play ball. And the guys were awesome. I think we have a lot of good, or great, I should say, senior leadership right now where they hold each other accountable and they don't let each other slack. And, if that were to happen a year ago, I don't know if we would have been able to pull that comeback off. And I think it was something last year too when we played Tulsa where we came back from 21 points down almost again. And I don't know, it was just something on the sideline where it's like you kind of felt something was going on in the offense court again. It was like, well, here we go. And then we were able to get the ball back and even overtime, we fumbled.
Oh yeah.
To turn the ball over, and the guys just didn't care. They just went out there and played. We were able to get a quick 3 and out, and we knew we were going to get after the field goal. I mean, it was all day we were able to get pressure, and if the guy would have kicked it straight, it would have been blocked. Thank God he pulled it because it was we were just getting after it, and then they do it again the very next series and hold them 3 and out, and the offense goes and wins the game. So it was one of those deals where we had our first practice and meeting today. Coach gave them a couple of days off after that win, and it was a challenge to our guys. Like, can we just put a full game together? We played a great first quarter, a great fourth quarter, and the second and third there was just stuff in between we didn't like. But it was it's a credit to our guys, man. We just keep their attention and their resolve was great.
Kevin, Richie mentioned that kickoff, that fluky kickoff that was ruled a touchdown. Have y'all heard from the conference office? Because I got an email from a reader who says that should have been ruled a touchback by rule because any untouched free kick by the receiving team that contacts the ground in the end zone belongs to the receiving team on their 25. And it makes no difference if the kicking team touches it or not. Did y'all hear from the conference on that?
I believe we have. And I believe you are correct.
Oh, wow.
So it should have been, yeah. So I've heard directly, but I did hear mumblings down the hallway earlier today.
I bet you did hear mumblings. Yeah.
I'm pretty positive that is exactly what happened. So how about that, huh?
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened. What happens? Do they go back and say, that's why the points are off the board?
No. You're going to get
as a native of New Orleans, I can tell you that they don't bring anything back.
Yeah, that's near
Gil's
heart.
Sorry.
Right. SMU defensive coordinator Kevin Kane was on Pressbox DFW Live. And that game was just crazy. Tulsa misses 3 field goals, 2 in OT. They have a blocked PAT. You guys miss a PAT. You're talking about once you get the ball back, it's going to be okay. A 19-play drive. I don't know if I've ever seen a 19-play drive. 6 fourth down conversions by the offense. You finally get it tied.
Right.
Prochet makes that great catch that initially, by the way, gets ruled incomplete on the field. That replay has to overturn it. 43-37, 3 overtimes. Kevin, you've been around football for a while now. Have you ever been involved in a crazier game than that?
That was pretty wild, wasn't it? I mean, when I was at my first year at Northern Illinois, I think we were down 21-3 maybe in the MAC championship game to Ohio and came back and won. But they had no flair as to what that did, because of all the little things that were called or not called and the overtimes and it was just there was a lot of stuff going on. I aged probably like 50 years in the matter of 20 minutes. And it was, like I said, it was just a fun atmosphere. And the fans that were there at the end, student section was running from one end of the field during one overtime, and they'd sprint to the other end of the field, through the stands to be loud in that part of the field. I mean, it was pretty neat to see what they were doing. And it's just one of those, sometimes you got to have those games to make sure you're locked in and you don't take anything for granted. And hopefully it'll wake us coaches and us players up for the rest of the season.
And the best part, the time of the game, y'all had and the fact that the game ran a little long, you had the national stage to yourself. There were a lot of TV sets that were introduced to the Mustangs on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. Pony up. Let's go, people. Get on board.
Kevin, I appreciate it.
I've got a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, and we had a deal last night where we met with some, we have a bye week this week, so we have a SAT club deal that we had to go to, and how many people that were out of town that weren't at the game but were able to sit down there at a bar and everybody was watching the game, or they were at a hotel lobby and everybody was watching the game. I mean, it was a pretty cool experience to hear how many people were able to see what was going on that night.
Oh, my phone was blowing up. Are you watching this SMU game? I'm like, yeah. And like Kevin said, if you're involved on the sidelines as a coach, you age and you hate that. As a sports fan, as a Dallasite, that was 4 hours of great entertainment. I mean, amazing. I'm sure you don't want that again, Kevin, but good luck. You got to bye this week. And then it only gets more fun. A showdown with Temple here in Dallas on October 19th. That's going to be a huge crowd, another good crowd. And that game may decide the AAC. Does that feel like already like a big game, even though it's a couple weeks away?
Yeah. I mean, they play Memphis this week, which that'll be a big test for them and for Memphis. Temple, all the respect in the world for them. That's my former boss. So I know them pretty well. It'll be fun to line up and play against them. And they're doing a great job. And especially on the east side, we know that, Central Florida got beat by Cincinnati. That Cincinnati Temple, I mean, it's an open arms race right now. Our conference is a lot of fun. There's not many weak links in this conference, and we got to go play. We still have Memphis. We still have Tulane that's playing at a high level. We got Houston. There's a lot of good football games ahead here. I mean, the more you think about it, like the toughest part of our schedule is coming up here from the last 6 games, and we've got to be ready, because I learned this last year. Anybody can win any week in this conference, and it's going to be wide open. So we got to line up every week and show up. And Temple's just the next one in the list. So
well, congratulations!
It'll be especially fun for me on that one. It'll be a good game.
Yep. Congratulations on the 6-0 start. It's great to have SMU back on the national college football map. Go get them at Temple, and we'll talk to you down the road. Good luck, Kevin. Thanks.
Heck yes. Pony up, guys. Appreciate you.
There he goes. Pony up. Kevin Kane, SMU defensive coordinator. What a great story. It's right underneath our nose.
You guys mind if I run some stats about that SMU game real quick?
Ziggy might have some stats for us.
Yes, so that's just the third time in SMU's program history that they've trailed by 21 points at any point in the game and won, bringing their record to 3-147.
Not good.
And it's just the 9th time an FBS team has trailed by 21 points or more entering the fourth quarter and won, bringing that collective record to 9-3,000.
9-3,000. And we watched history, Gil. Good for us. Late night on Saturday.
I'm glad I stuck with it.
Me too. All right, we're going to stick with this next. Thanks for watching right here on Pressbox DFW Live every Tuesday at noon, and thanks for reading us every day at PressboxDFW.com. Next up in the pregame meal, Red River Rivalry, chapter 115.
Well, Richie, it's that week again. It's that week when all the crazies go out to the state fair because they say they like the stadium, they like the atmosphere. They ignore the 2-foot rats that infest.
I haven't seen a 2-foot rat, sir.
Well,
maybe a 1-footer.
Well, it's dangerous to walk around that midway. As I told you last week, I got hit by a flying television set one year.
This story. Okay, that headline, man hit by flying television set at the Cotton Bowl, sounds preposterous. Did that really happen?
I'll give you the very abbreviated version. I'm coming back from the post-game interview tent that
From
they
a
had.
Texas OU game.
Texas OU
Okay,
game.
what year are we talking?
Oh,
1920?
2000. Well, it was back.
Sorry, 2000.
I had just got finished talking to Coach Wilkinson. No. Stop it.
We actually have a photo from that game. Jason's going to pop it
All
up.
right. Here comes the dog pile.
It's not a dog.
Oh, no,
pile.
he's
This
not
is
going to use
breaking
it.
news.
There we go.
Yeah, there's Gil in the
There it
background.
is.
See, lower
With
left,
a
that's Gil.
notepad.
Can I get a word with you, Coach?
Thank you. Well, there's like an alleyway leading up to the
Yes,
to
I
the
know
front
what
of
you're
the
talking
stage,
about. Yep.
and the midway's right next to it.
Yes.
And this will put a little time frame on it. It was back when everybody had those little black and white TV sets that it was like a Sony Watchman.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
was
like
gonna say,
that.
not a Walkman,
Well,
but a
this was
Watchman,
bigger than
yeah.
a Watchman.
Okay.
I'm walking along. I'm looking at my notes. I've got a column to write and file, and all of a sudden something hits me in the head, and I go, "Whoa, what was that?" And it was loud enough that people around me said, "Are you okay?" And I look, and I've got like blood
Oh, wow.
coming out of my forehead, and somebody says, "Did you drop this?" And they hand me a TV set, one of these little TV sets. Apparently, somebody on one of the
It had to come from
the
inside
ride.
the stadium. Oh,
No,
from a
it
ride,
came
you
from
think?
one of the midway rides, and it was one of those ones that
Oh, like the
twirl
old
up
egg
in the
scrambler
the
and the
kinds
TV went
that
flying
they
out.
put together by
Carnies.
carnies and hourly, people that they could find, temporary workers,
Yes, there you go.
So they were
Day
put together
laborers.
with that care, and it must have fallen out of the compartment or cab
Right.
of one of these rides, and so it fell from 15, 20 feet and
At a
hit
pretty
me.
good rate of speed.
Yeah, it hit me
going
right
up
on the
ride.
head, and but I was okay, and a Band-Aid took care of,
Oh, okay.
of that.
It's a glancing blow.
It was well, at the time I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" And so to prove that no good deed goes unpunished,
Yes.
I decide, well, I'm going to turn in the TV to the lost and found, and I can
With all
tell
the
you,
blood on it, or did you clean it?
I didn't clean it.
Oh.
And I
Yeah, what a great
this
deed.
is a warning. If you find anything on the ground at the state fair, if it's whether it's a prize pig, a random TV set, or a shrunken head, they still have the shrunken head
Oh,
exhibit.
sure.
Don't turn it in
No,
because
fried
the
and eat it, you
paperwork
might win an award.
the paperwork alone
Oh.
took 30 minutes. And they wouldn't let
Oh.
me. And I'm sitting there going, "Why am I doing this?"
So you had a bloody head, and you had
I
to
should have
spend
kept the
30
TV.
minutes.
I should have kept the TV.
Yeah, it was kind of yours.
And but ever since then, I've been a little leery about going back to Texas OU. I don't get why they still have the game there, but I digress.
It's going to
They
be
have the
moved.
best stadium in the
Eventually it's gonna be
world
moved. But it's a great
down
scene.
the
Come
street.
on. It's a great scene. I still love it
For who?
for Texas
Fletcher's
and OU
family?
fans, and well, obviously for the state fair. But it's a great scene to go there and ride the midway, dodge the flying TVs, and watch a game where it's unique in all of sports. It's one tunnel. It's 50-50 fans. It's been played there for 100 years. You just don't get that anymore. You want them to play in antiseptic Cowboys Stadium? Is that what you want?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, you had
it's
that
closer
last
to
year.
my house.
This is what I want right here. I want you covering these
Yeah,
guys
I
without
get
face
it. I
masks.
get it. That single bar face mask, and yeah, I get it. So
I
anyway,
still,
that's
I
what
still
we.
love and I bet you our viewers on Facebook are going to chime in on this one. Do you want the Cotton Bowl to stay? The Texas U to stay in the Cotton Bowl or move to AT&T Stadium? They've done surveys on this. People want it to stay in the Cotton
Yeah,
Bowl.
yeah.
There's what don't you like about tradition? You want LSU to move?
No, why would?
Okay, why would they?
I mean,
I'll bet you somebody
I mean,
at
we've
some
got a-
point
we've got
been
a
hit by
perfectly
a
good-
flying TV at an
Hey,
LSU game.
look.
Worse than that. Well,
Let me tell you, a lot more money's been put into Tiger Stadium and the Cotton Bowl are
Yes.
somewhat contemporaries. They were built back during the
Okay.
WPA days, and I guarantee you that many millions and millions more dollars in care
Yeah.
have been placed in Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, bringing it up over 100,000 than have been.
okay, now the Cotton Bowl. Why am I defending the Cotton Bowl? The Cotton Bowl
why are you
got a
defending the
$50
Cotton Bowl?
million facelift to keep
If
the
it was
game
that
here.
good, the Cowboys would be playing there right now.
No, that's a whole different story, and you know it. The
Well, I
game
just
is
thought I had to
till
say
2025. The game is staying in Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
We know that for a fact.
I know. Isn't that something?
Till 2025, Gil Leberton's not going to the State Fair.
Well,
we know that.
I'll watch the game.
I'll be our reporter, okay?
I'm scared to go to the State Fair. That's the answer. So anyway, let's talk about the game.
Yes.
Who you like?
OU's going to kill them, and I'm a Texas guy.
Oh, really?
OU's going to absolutely throttle them.
Based on what?
Based on Lincoln Riley's the best play caller in college football. He's proven it with now 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Eventually, you look at the common denominator, right?
Right.
It's not the great offensive line, it's not his defense. It's his play calling that allows now Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield to be Heisman quarterbacks. He is the common denominator. Take that, and if you watched any Texas football this year, you're cringing with me. Their secondary is abysmal, and their secondary is banged up. Their best safety is Stearns. He's out again this week. They can put no pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And Oklahoma's going to score 50 points. I hate to say it, but I can't see any way that Texas stops OU from just naming their score this week.
And the Oklahoma defense impresses you?
They do not impress me, but this is not one of those offenses where Texas can keep up with them. It's going to be a 40-20 type game, I'm afraid.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't think there's that much difference between the two defenses. And I don't think there's that much difference between the two quarterbacks. So where is the difference going to come?
Texas does not have any pass rush, and they don't have a secondary, and that's a bad combination against Oklahoma State.
I think they have a wounded secondary. I think they've got good players.
Temporarily, currently wounded. Horrible matchup for what they're going to face on Saturday.
Yeah, they're catching them at a bad time.
Absolutely right. I agree with that.
So we were talking about the history of the game. And there've been some great ones over the years. I know you put together a list. We'll post it this afternoon on what you think are the 5.
I got the top 5 most memorable games. Yeah, and it was
memorable.
hard. It's very difficult to choose from.
Yeah,
that'll be up later today at Pressbox DFW.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay. So the number 1 is the game. Oh, there's a really cool photo from back in the day.
That was what game was that?
I don't know what year that was.
Yeah.
The program from 1969.
I loved when game program covers look like that.
Yeah, or cartoons.
Right.
Like I said, the top 5 will be up at PressboxDFW.com later this afternoon. Number 1, of course, let's just go there. 1984 was the only time that these teams came into this game ranked number 1, number 2. Texas was number 1, OU was number 2, and I remember being excited for this game, and it rained like a hurricane. It rained a sideways monsoon, and it was a driving rainstorm. And Barry Switzer, back in the days of Barry Switzer, and back in the days of no overtime, opted for an intentional safety late in this game. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
to protect the lead.
Oh yeah, you're right. This was clearly
and this
one
is
of the
1
most
versus
memorable.
2, and Switzer takes the intentional safety, runs out of the back of the end zone to take a 3-point lead with less than a minute to go, and said we'll milk the clock. And Texas drives down.
They had made a goal line stand.
Goal line stand, right? And he rewarded his team by taking a safety. Jeff Ward comes down, kicks a field goal at I think a 34-yard field goal.
The intentional safety made it 15
to 12.
15 to 12.
Yeah.
Right. The 2 points, it was 15-10.
Yep.
The safety makes it 15-12.
Yep. And he thinks defense can hold them one drive, and they didn't. Texas drove down, kicked a field goal to tie.
There was 2 minutes and 10 seconds left when he took the intentional safety.
That's too much time.
Well, nowadays, but back in those days,
it's true.
And
did he get? I wasn't. I was just in college at the time. Did he get roasted for that decision, Switzer?
He did. Yeah, he did. And I remember his defense was, he, like most criticism, it just ran right off Switzer's back,
Yeah. Not a lot bothered.
You weren't going to. The one who the attention after the game wasn't focused on Switzer for the safety. It was Fred Akers for having the number 1 team in the country and going for a tie at the end.
But I think it was the right call. Didn't they have like a 4th and 7 or something?
Well, it was a 32-yard field goal.
Right.
They were at the 15-yard line, and there was 5 seconds left.
Okay, what would you have done? At the 17?
At the 15.
At the 15.
They were at the 15.
I would kick that. Otherwise,
Well,
you got
Oklahoma-
5 seconds, you got one play.
Oklahoma would have put 9 guys in the end zone, right?
Yeah, of
all you have to
course.
do is
What, are
keep
you gonna
them
run
out
a
of the end
screen
zone.
and try to fool? No, I think that's the right call. But what a great series, despite Gil's lambasting of the old Classic Stadium. Texas OU Saturday, 11 a.m. start here in DFW.
I hate that.
Everybody hates that. I'll be going down. You know what? I'm going to save it. In Wits End, I will not be at Texas OU. I'm going to be somewhere else.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where I'm Wits End.
Okay.
But next up, John Henry, who's not here, but he's going to have some words of wisdom for you next. Okay. John Henry on his A game as usual. Next up in Wits End, those confusing Cowboys. Everybody hold it together. John Henry. He's the best partner I've ever had. Welcome to Wits End. Brought to you by the good folks at Three Parrots Taco Shop. Best tacos in DFW. They got Baja tacos. They got Baja burritos. I've been there for their fish tacos, and I'm telling you, it's as good as any seafood restaurant with the fancy white tablecloths you can find. It is Three Parrots Taco Shop. They got smoked brisket. They got chipotle chicken. And their homemade stuff is to die for. They got the mojo sauce. They got the breakfast bowls. And Gil, you like the art on the wall, and you like this
I like
menu,
the beer
don't you?
drinking parrot. I got to admit, I like the beer drinking
It's very
parrot.
festive. It's got
He
a
looks
summer.
like somebody I'd like to hang out with.
He does. Maybe we should get the Three Parrots instead of John Henry. Maybe they'd have better sports points. Great art on the wall, great music on the speakers, and a great summer vibe all year long. It is Three Parrots. The Benbrook location, 8737 Benbrook Boulevard. That's Highway 377 there in Benbrook. Give them a call, 817-249-8226. Pick up the phone, call them, and say, I want to talk to Robert. And if Robert answers, you say, you know what? Those knuckleheads at Pressbox DFW Live, they told me to come to Three Parrots and get your butt over there. Tell them you heard about them on the podcast. It's Three Parrots Taco Shop. That is the number 3 Parrots. Three Parrots Taco Shop. So, all right, Gil, a couple things in Wits End. First of all, I'm not going to Texas OU this weekend because I'm going to A&M Alabama.
Ooh,
How about that?
good.
I've got A&M friends, if you can believe it, as much as I trash them on our side. I've got a couple of A&M buddies, and they've been getting in me for years. You got to come down, you got to come down, you got to come down. So a year ago, I said, I'll do it. Now I regret it because I want to go to Texas OU. But I'm going Saturday to tailgate and to watch A&M in Alabama. First person.
Well, tailgate, you can watch Texas.
I will be able to watch it. But, yes, I'll have a report next week from College Station where A&M is going to get beat 70-0 by Alabama.
Oh.
Can't wait.
They're not going to get beat 7.
Now, trust my predictions because I did the impossible last week on Bet the House.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So at PressboxDFW.com, every Friday we have, it comes out on Saturdays. We have
Fridays or Saturdays.
Fridays,
Whenever
yeah.
we get all of them
Fridays or
in,
Saturdays.
I post it.
we have a little pick'em game between the staff writers. And usually I'm upper echelon, middle of the road, been doing okay. But last week I did something I couldn't do if I tried. We picked 12 games against the spread. I went 1-11.
I know.
That's
I
almost
noticed that.
impossible. If I tried to pick every game
If
to
you just
lose,
went eeny, meeny, miny, mo,
eeny, meeny, miny, mo would have
flip the
done
coin.
better. 1-11. Thank God I wasn't in Vegas last weekend because that would have been brutal.
But that shows you how football is. I mean, the NFL. I think the NFL is easier to pick because the games tend to be close.
Yeah.
And you can almost have a good record against the spread in the NFL picking winners only.
Pick road teams in the NFL, and you're 48-28-1 this year.
Really?
Just picking road
Yeah,
teams.
see,
so
there
just
you
do
go.
that. Take the guesswork out of
But
it.
college, because points allowed has no currency anymore, right?
No,
I mean,
exactly right.
touchdowns are scored like that.
Yep.
If you think you're safe with Oklahoma giving 32 against Kansas,
I thought I was. Kansas scored late, or it would have been 2-10,
People,
respectable.
the backdoor cover
The backdoor cover.
is prevalent, and
gosh, yeah.
plus you end up with weird things like you turn on the TV and here's Tulsa
30-9.
got a
Yeah.
30
I'm like, I don't think I'm winning that
lead.
game, man. I did.
Who figured this?
Anyway, next time I try to pontificate and look in the camera and say, "Listen to me," 1-11. Yeah, that's me. All right. One game I also got wrong was I thought the Cowboys were going to beat the Packers. Instead, I got Packers 34, Cowboys 24. Let's talk about that disaster at AT&T Stadium. First of all, in the stands that game, did you see Ellen DeGeneres?
I was in the press box. I saw her on TV. I saw.
Okay, is it just me, and Ziggy can chime in on this? Ellen has deteriorated into a Keebler elf. She is a strange-looking human all of a sudden. What is happening to her?
What you mean, that she's so slight? That
She's slight, and her face is withering away, and her ears are growing, and they're pointing. I mean, she's a strange-looking person.
I think that part of that is she's just a lot older than we think she is.
Well, that's true, too.
So
She's
I think
like a
it's just
62-year-old
natural
Keebler
aging.
elf. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I saw. Here's a.
Maybe she got hit by a
little
head by a flying TV back in the day.
Ellen is 61 years old.
There you go.
And I was, Ellen lived in Dallas for a while.
She did.
And I was coming back from a Cowboys road trip, and I had seen her on Showtime, I guess it was, that had the competition for for America's Funniest Person,
Yep.
which she won.
Right.
And she was an unknown until this contest. I think she would even credit this as her
launch point.
her first coming out party was winning the. No, I don't mean it.
First, yes, you do, and it's funny.
No,
if you didn't mean it,
but
it's still funny.
Coming out for her career, and she truly was funny.
Yes,
and I
she still is funny. Yeah.
I explored this further because I knew she had some roots in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And she went to I'm pretty sure she went to the same high school that my wife went to. I think
This is
Riverdale
really
High
hard
School.
for me to fact check. But
So
I'm gonna
anyway,
take your word
yeah, but I know she went to high school in Louisiana, and so I always kind of followed her career. So I look up, and there's Ellen still unrecognized by the crowd waiting for their luggage at DFW Airport,
Okay.
and she's waiting to meet somebody that had come off the plane. And I started to go up and introduce myself and say hi to her and tell her I liked her and all
connection.
this stuff. And I missed a chance for a lifelong friendship, maybe getting invited to sit in the
Yeah.
audience on one of the giveaway days. Instead, I sat there like a wallflower, didn't say anything, and then she went off to a somewhat successful career.
And you're doing Pressbox DFW
Yeah,
live
how
with
about
me.
that?
I think you got the wrong end of
Should
that.
have said hi. See, that teaches
Did she
you.
look like a Keebler elf
Always
back then?
say hello when
Yeah,
you feel like it.
that's good. Actually, good advice from you. All right, let's get to the game. Did you think Packers were going to come in here and get to a 31-3 lead on the Cowboys? I
No.
mean, this Cowboys team. So it all starts with Dak Prescott, and this is the same quarterback, Gil. We were sitting here in weeks 1, 2, and 3 saying how he looks like a different quarterback. He's actually a pocket passer.
Yeah.
He's throwing the ball on time, on target. He looks comfortable, and now he doesn't look recognizable from that guy. Is it just a little hint of pressure? Did the Saints screw him up with what they did to him last Sunday night? Something's happened.
Yeah, something's happened. Something has taken him out of his comfort zone, and I know some have even speculated that it might be something off the field, like his
I was
contract.
about to say that, like a contract.
Right.
That he's like, I should have signed it 2
Right.
weeks ago. Like,
Right.
His price is plummeting. I'm sorry. If it's a week-to-week deal, he's a lot cheaper than he was a month ago or 3 weeks ago.
Well, he's cheaper. I wouldn't say he's a lot cheaper, but yeah. But something's on his mind, and you'd think that he looks like the kind of guy that isn't worried about anything.
Yep.
He's in post-game interviews and during the week interviews. He's very confident. He's very sure of himself, and but we haven't seen that the last couple of weeks. Something's shaken him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. What I think it was last game is I think we take for granted just how good Tyron Smith is. So when Tyron Smith's out in Atlanta 2017, Claiborne has 6 sacks that day when it was Chaz Green and Byron Bell filling in for Tyron. Now he's out last game, and it's Cam Fleming being the revolving door. And Dak he felt the pressure from your blind side, and we know what that can do to a quarterback, and it looked like it did something to him.
Yeah, it was a timing problem.
Yep.
And his passes seemed, it shows you just a tick off, and it affects everything.
Yeah. He had 3 picks. I went back and watched the game. I mean, the first pick I think is on Amari Cooper. That's not on Dak, even though it wasn't a perfectly thrown ball. That Amari Cooper's got to make that catch.
Yeah.
But he had one that was totally dropped by a Packer, and one that was picked off in the end zone, negated by a penalty. And he could have had a 5 interception game pretty easily. Cowboys got down 31-3. They made it interesting. What'd you think about Garrett just lose? And relatively speaking, for Garrett, he lost it when he spiked the challenge flag in front of the referee. I personally kind of liked it because I've known Garrett for a long time, and he's so robotic. I like that he, like the rest of us, his blood was boiling about that game. What'd you think?
And it wasn't just that call.
There was a build-up for sure.
That NFL officiating crew Sunday was having a terrible day. And I just think it was the culmination of things.
Yeah.
And, I wish I was a lip reader. I would like to know exactly what he was saying there. I would try to. I even slowed it down to see if I could tell.
couldn't figure it out.
And then there was that little confrontation, right?
The one before it
with the side judge.
Oh, okay. This is not a Me Too moment I'm having, but that female referee was in charge of nothing but scoot back, everybody. She was the scoot back referee. That's all she was doing. It was maddening. And Amari Cooper made a great catch, got ruled out of bounds. Garrett absolutely lost it with obscenities, got a 15-yard penalty. But then, the 31-3, you're not going to win that game. They're not SMU, for crying out loud.
How much stock do you put in the comeback?
0.
Because they didn't come back all the way.
Because the Packers, as you do when you're up 31-3, you play a different mindset, you play different physical, you play a different lineup. I mean, you're protecting a lead, you're not trying to win. It's just not. I never, I give them credit for not quitting, I guess, if you want that, but I don't say that was the real Cowboys. The real Cowboys committed 11 penalties.
Right.
The real Cowboys threw 3 interceptions. The real Cowboys missed 2 field goals, by the way. And you just can't expect to win an NFL game against anybody other than the 3 schmoes they played early in the year and this week's opponent, the hapless Jets.
Aaron Rodgers is a magician.
He is amazing. I can't stand him, but he is amazing. The way he just moves in the pocket,
right,
and senses pressure.
He feels the pressure.
Something that Dak has never had, and may never, because it's a unique quality.
Dak showed signs of being able to do that in the first part of the season when the rush was coming from the Redskins and the Dolphins.
Exactly right.
And suddenly, you disguise some coverages, you disguise some blitzes,
yes,
and he's thrown off base a little bit. But Rodgers, he's got a great feel. And
can you imagine how frustrating it'd be to play him? Because the Cowboys were all around him. I mean, at his feet, pressure from both sides, and he's just subtle. It looks like he's not moving, but you can't even two below him. Let's not sack him. Mm-hmm. He's amazing at that.
Why didn't the Cowboys run more?
It's a good question. I've heard people say because they got down 31-3. Well, that's one of the reasons they got down 31-3.
Right.
Because Zeke first carry of the game, he got 12 yards. But next thing you know, they got pass happy. That's a good question. They got down 17-0 just at halftime, and all of a sudden they abandoned the running game. But that's their DNA. If the Cowboys are going to win the East and win a playoff game or two, we're not going to be sitting here going, boy, Dak threw 50 passes and that's why they won. It's going to be Zeke carried the ball 30 times and that's how they won. That's their DNA. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there's some Cowboys for you. They collapsed against the Packers. They're now 3-2 after a 3-0 start, but they do get the hapless Jets Sunday in New York. All right, look at the time. We got to get up on out of here. Next up, round the bases, head for home. It's the walk-off. All right, Gil, let's talk about the walk-off. First of all, where are we today? It's a beautiful stadium. I love that picture. I would love to go see a game there. Where could we possibly be?
I think that's an artist rendition.
I do not think that's an artist rendition.
That's the Cotton Bowl in all its Texas OU glory. Half the stadium burnt orange, half the stadium with crimson, And let me ask, Ziggy, have you been there for this annual event?
I was actually 1 year, or when I was in college, one of my roommates was the head photographer for the OU newspaper, so I've actually been in the press box at this game.
Oh, in the press box. And from the press box, you can really see the way the crowd is divided with the two colors.
It looks fake. It's
I got to admit that is a very neat part of it.
All right, good.
And the other part is which you can't see behind me there. The tunnel is on the OU end of the field, and of course the Texas players always talk about how they have to walk through that tunnel. It's a very long uphill
really cool walk
after the game, but they walk through there and the Oklahoma fans greet them warmly.
Yeah, they do greet them warmly. Exactly right. What's on the website this week? Got any good stuff?
Plenty of good football stuff. We had plenty of commentary after the Cowboys lost Sunday. You have your 10 quick observations.
It's very therapeutic for me. After a loss, just to be able to rant 10 different thoughts. It helps me sleep much better.
Yeah, Matt Mosley came back with his views on it, and then I tossed in my column from the game that night. We need to get out to the Mavericks. Look at that. We have that story from the Mavericks offseason.
Cuban,
with them starting, we need to get back out there.
Yep.
But plenty of football on there, and we'll continue to have plenty of football as the season goes on.
We'll have some Texas OU coverage. We'll have A&M, Alabama coverage from yours truly next week. We'll see you then, same time right here at noon on Tuesday, Pressbox DFW Live. For Gil Leberton, for a much improved yet silent John Henry, I'm Richie Witt. We'll see you guys in the Pressbox DFW.